What's going on, Black people? I hope you guys are having a good day. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World and the Black Business School. I wanted to take 1 second to tell you guys about something that I read. You guys know I cover a lot of stuff on the Black Financial Channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, you should. It's excellent. It's theblackfinancialchannel.com. That's theblackfinancialchannel.com. It is part of our effort to not just build intelligent Black media, but to also have a daily financial news show for Black people, which doesn't exist as far as we know. We know that there's stuff out there that's monthly and all that stuff, but we wanted something that's daily, kind of like a CNBC for Black people. And so, given them my PhDs in finance, I want to offer my support to the community to give you some guidance on some things that might be helpful to you on a daily basis. Now, what I want to talk about very quickly in this quick update is I read an article about the most regrettable things that people do in college. The two things people regret the most about college. One, it has to do with the decision to take on debt to go to college. The other has to do with what major you choose. And so I'm going to cover that in 1 second. Before I do that, I want to remind you guys, shout out your city, hit the thumbs up button, all that stuff. I see Charlotte and Philadelphia. What's up, Brandon and April and everybody else that's in here. Good to see you guys. Good to see you, Nakia. My favorite scholar. I'll see you at the Chicago conference, Dr. Boyce. That's awesome. Yes, Dr. Boyce. Chicago.com. That's July 28th, drboycechicago.com. We're doing an investment seminar. It'll be all day. We have limited seating, but if you sign up, then I'll be there and we can hang out and talk about investing and finance all day long. Also, this weekend, we're doing a 2-day investment summit in New Orleans. You can go to drboyceneworleans.com. I'll also be at the FraserNet conference for 1 day this week giving a speech. The FraserNet conference is in Houston. So I got a lot of stuff going on in the next few days. I see Tiffany from, is that Tiffy or Tiff? From Kansas City, Ohio, Virginia, Mississippi, F. Hobson College, ATL. All right, Dominican Republic. Oh, Vega. Well, you gotta let us know what's going on in the DR. You got a lot of people that are scared to go to the DR right now because of the stuff that's happening. My next door neighbor, actually, my next door neighbor's father died in the DR, and I had no idea until recently. And we were just talking about it, and it turned out he died in the DR, just dropped dead on the beach. It was kind of crazy. So anyway, let me jump into this. Hit the thumbs up button. So basically on Market Watch, they did a survey of 250,000 Americans, and they found that the biggest regret that people have when it comes to college is student loans. Student loans, as you know, student loan debt, that is the next great economic crisis that's going to hit America. Student loan debt has surpassed all other forms of consumer debt that exist anywhere. Student loan debt has become an economic virus that has affected so many people. Student loan debt has hit Black people the hardest because basically your biggest accomplishers in the Black community are the ones who are most likely to have gone to college, but they're also the ones who are least likely to leave wealth for their family now because they've got so much debt. It's hard to swim when you start off 50 feet underwater, and so half of all Black college graduates have defaulted on their student loans, and what that does is that's why you see the wealth gap, the gap in wealth between whites and Blacks growing as opposed to shrinking. It's the student loan debt that's doing that. And so now the thing about debt, and I've talked to you guys about it before, debt is not always a bad thing. It's okay to take on debt if you are investing in something that's going to give you enough money to repay that debt, right? So not every person that goes to college and borrows money is an idiot. I'm not saying that at all. But what you don't want to do is you don't want to take on what they call bad debt. Bad debt is very basic. Bad debt means that you borrowed money to buy an asset that isn't going to help you pay your money back, right? So bad debt might be, I borrowed $80,000, so I could go on vacation and buy, Gucci belts, right? Whatever, right? That's bad debt. Or I ran up my credit card to $40,000 because I wanted to go out to eat every other, every couple of days, right? That's bad debt. Good debt could be, I took on some debt, a modest amount of debt to buy a house or to start a business. And because I borrowed $30,000 to start my business, I now make an extra $80,000 a year. That's good debt. That's smart debt. So not all college majors are bad debt. The idea is keeping the cost down, keeping the debt level down, but in keeping the income prospects up. That's all you got to do. Think about think about your business, your earning potential, playing a basketball game against your debt, right? So you got money coming in, money going out. You got one team playing against the other. So your earnings is playing against your expenses, right? So if your expenses outweigh your earnings and your expenses win that basketball game, then you lose, right? Because you have more expenses, your expenses score more points against your bank account than your earnings actually score. But if it's the other way around, then it's a good move. It was a smart move, right? So ultimately, what they said is they actually listed the majors, the college majors that people regret the most. The major that they said actually led the list was the humanities. Now, let me double check and see which majors represent the humanities. Let me see. I wish they'd be more specific. What majors are in the humanities? Okay. The humanities would be English literature, modern languages, history, philosophy, social sciences, anthropology, economics, geography, political science, and sociology. Yeah, economics is funny because if you do financial economics, then it works out quite well. But if you're doing other forms of economics, it can be a little bit iffy. I remember when I was getting my PhD in finance, we would graduate and we would the finance majors, we would make twice as much as our peers who were in the same classes, learning the same stuff, who studied economics. So the economics majors would graduate. Maybe if they could get a job, they might make 60 or 70,000. Now we were all PhDs, which is very high on the educational food chain. It's very hard to do. It took us years to finish. But we would make like maybe as much as 140, 150, right, on our first job. So we were learning the same skill, but because we had a different label, we made a higher salary and had more jobs available. It was the weirdest thing. So we used to make a joke and say the economics majors don't understand, demand and supply. They don't understand labor markets very well because they're smart as hell, learning more than the rest of us, but getting paid less money and they have fewer jobs. That didn't make sense to us. The other areas that they mentioned that people regret are physical and life sciences. Third is social sciences. Fourth is education. So education, social sciences, physical, life sciences, and humanities tend to be the majors that are the most regrettable for people. Next down the list, and all of them have about 17% or higher in terms of the regret factor. Education, social sciences, and physical and life sciences are all between 17.3% and 17.9% regret. Humanities takes a little bit of a jump up for about 4 percentage points to 21.2%. So a fifth of all humanities majors regret their major. And I know that feeling because I had a lot of classmates and students and friends that studied things like philosophy and English literature, and they would borrow $80,000 to do that, and then so you've really created an impossible equation for yourself. It's like I'm gonna drive myself to the middle of the desert and then try to walk home. You can't walk home from the desert. You drove yourself out there, but you can't walk home. If somebody drops you off in the desert. So anyway, let me keep going. Hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button. If you haven't hit the thumbs up button, please do that. Now Michael says I'm an economics major. Is that a social science? Yes, it is. But remember, even if 17.6% of the social sciences majors regret being a social science major, that still means the majority of them don't have regrets. So I'm not here to tell you that it's bad or that it's a mistake. I'm just here to tell you that these are listed as the most regrettable majors. Next on the list is communications. After that is art, right, with 14.9%. Then they move into business. I don't think business is a regrettable major. Basically, 9 out of 10 business majors are happy. Let's look at it on the other side of the equation, right? 9 out of 10 business majors are glad they majored in business. 1 out of 10 is not. So that's not so terrible, right? So they keep going all the way down the list to the absolute lowest. The majors that have the lowest regret, actually the one that has the lowest regret is computer science. After that's engineering, math, health sciences, and business. So I would say in those top 5 where you have 9 out of 10 students are happy that they picked those majors, those seem to be majors where the earning potential is higher. It's heavily correlated with income. Think about this. Computer science majors, engineering majors, business majors tend to make more money than the people that are in humanities and the social sciences and the life sciences and education and all that stuff, right? So ultimately it kind of says, if you go to college or your child goes to college or whatever, you got to ask that why. You got to ask that why question. Like, why are you doing this? What is the plan? And the problem is people go into it and they don't have a plan. Well, if you go into it without a plan, then the government, the world has a plan for you. The plan is for you to die in debt. So if you don't come up with another plan to trump the original plan, then you're going to be part of somebody else's master plan, which is to put you in debt, have you die in debt, and have you contribute to a growing wealth gap between whites and blacks, because we're giving away about $1 trillion in black wealth every generation because we are taking on all this student loan debt. Most of that money is going to big white universities, right? And so that really, if you want to look at the mechanics of the wealth gap and what's causing our wealth to be so much lower than whites, one of the, it doesn't explain why our wealth is lower than whites, but it does explain why our wealth gap grows, right? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, racism in history explains why the gap was created, but it's actions that are in the current that explain mostly why it isn't getting better, why it's getting worse. Well, it's getting worse because we're taking on the wrong formula to try to fix it, right? So anyway, that's it. I just wanted to share that with you guys. Hopefully this will help you. If you have young people in your class, in your family that are trying to go to school, trying to get a trade, just remember I said this. This is one thing I really believe. I believe every black person needs to be a job creator. Every black person needs to know how to start a business. Even if you don't plan on being an entrepreneur, you should know how to do that, just in case you ever get sick of your boss and decide you want to quit your job, or just in case you ever decide you need extra money, which everybody does, or just in case you decide you just want to do something you want to do as opposed to waiting for somebody to give you an opportunity. That's why I'm a big believer in entrepreneurship. It takes less time to learn how to be an entrepreneur than it takes to learn how to be a good basketball player. I've done both. I wasn't even a great basketball player, and I spent thousands of hours in the basketball court, but being an entrepreneur probably maybe took 20 hours, 30 hours of work. There's 168 hours in a week, so literally somebody can learn how to start a business in less than a week. That's just my 2 cents, but who's listening to me? I'm just some Negro on the internet talking, just running his mouth. So who pays attention to me? Nobody, right? So anyway, I want you guys to hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button. Michael's right. We definitely should create our own schools. That's why we created the Black Business School. We hope that you'll be a part of it. I know. Thank you, Michael. I know people listen. I mean, I got like 3 point something million views on the YouTube channel last month. So I assume somebody's out there listening. And for those of you who are listening, I want to say thank you. But also, even if those who don't listen, it's okay. I'm just sharing for those who want to hear it. And those who don't want to hear it, what's going to happen is you're going to see them falling in the same traps, going through the same debt cycles, the same, poverty cycles that have always existed. And so I feel bad for them, because you're looking to your oppressor to give you a solution for your oppression. Your oppressor will never teach you how to become unoppressed. Why would they ever do that? Because you're a very good servant. You're a good slave. Why would they want you to be anything other than their servant, other than their slave? And that's just the reality of it all. So in order for you to grow, you're going to have to think independently. That's just the truth. All right. So anyway, hit the thumbs up button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. I'm about to go. Also, make sure you subscribe at theblackfinancialchannel.com to get daily financial news and updates. I've been talking a lot about investing, the markets, Bitcoin, all this stuff that's going on. Theblackfinancialchannel.com. Also, if you want to learn to buy your first share of stock, if you haven't done that yet, everybody in my house is an investor. Everybody in my house owns stock. Even the little baby that's 9 months old, she owns stock. My brother's daughter. I will answer your questions in a minute, but I can't do it now because I got to go to be with family. I just wanted to share this information real quick before I take off. Also, if you want to come see me in New Orleans this week, you can go to drboyceneworleans.com. If you want to see me in Chicago, July 28th, drboycechicago.com. Of course, the All Black National Convention is the end of September, so that's allblacknationalconvention.com. So there's a lot of stuff. And another thing too, we have our financial workbooks for your kids. If you want to learn, if you want your kids to learn this stuff, we created workbooks, really good workbooks for children of all grade levels. Feel free to go take a look. It's financialworkbooks.com. That's financialworkbooks.com. I'm out of here, guys. Have a good day. And I don't know how I feel about the University of Phoenix, because I agree with you. I think somebody made a good point here. University of Phoenix is not a great school, but if you have an MBA from them, they might take you seriously. Yeah, I don't know. I think University of Phoenix is very expensive. I don't really know exactly what the market value of an MBA is, but then again, though, I don't really apply for jobs much. Like the T-shirt says, I haven't applied for a job for a long time, so I'm not one to tell you how to navigate that job market. That's just not what I believe in as a black man. I believe as a black man, my freedom is connected to me being able to create my own job, and that's just a reality. So I'm out of here, guys. Have a good day, and I shall see you soon. Take care. Peace.